Hey y'all! Welcome back to the Literary Apothecary, and if you're new here, welcome to the Literary Apothecary. My name is Kate, and today I'm here to talk about It Can't Happen Here by Sinclair Lewis. This is a classic dystopian satire. I read this because it was a book club picked by my coworker Andy, and this one was scary how close it was to reality and also depressing. So my general thoughts about this book is that for a book published in 1935 that is supposed to be a political satire, it feels way too true to the US today. In today's 2026 political climate, this read felt much closer to reality than I would have ever imagined. At times, it was like reading a playbook for the current administration, and the further I read, the closer it felt to reality, especially down here in the South. It was well written and kept my interest the entire time, even when I really wanted to look away. A spoiler-free description on what this book is all about. It Can't Happen Here is a semi-satirical 1935 novel published during the rise of fascism in Europe. The novel describes the rise of Basilius Buzz Winthrop, a politician who defeats Franklin Delano Roosevelt and is elected President of the United States. After fomenting fear and promising drastic economic and social reforms while promoting a return to patriotism and, quote, traditional values, after his election, Winthrop takes complete control of the government and imposes a plutocratic, totalitarian rule with the help of a ruthless paramilitary force in the manner of Adolf Hitler and the Secret Service, the SS. The novel's plot centers on journalist Doremus Jessup's opposition to the new regime and his subsequent struggle against it as part of a liberal rebellion. Reviewers at the time in 1936-35 and literary critics ever since have emphasized the connection with Louisiana politician Huey Long, who was preparing to run for president in the 1936 election when he was assassinated in 1935, which I did not know. So jumping into our call pile categories, these characters are spot on for what Sinclair Lewis is trying to get. They were so realistic at times that I forgot I was reading a fictional satire, although that may be more due to the current state of things than the fiction writing itself. But his characters were spot on. They were, especially Buzz Winthrop, was so ridiculous yet so believable, partly because of today's climate, but partly because of the writing. The atmosphere was great, but I would have liked to see more in the setting. It wasn't bad, I just wanted a little bit more. The writing style was good. It fit the tone and the time that Lewis was writing in and of. However, doing it to being so close to reality, I had to take it in chunks. I couldn't just binge it like I could with a lot of books, and it also had really slow prose. It was a really slow start, and once I added the audiobook to it, it was a lot better. The plot did what it had to do. I wasn't surprised by the plot at all, just how closely it tied to the US. And I was definitely intrigued the entire time reading this book. I really hoped it would end the way that it did, but had no idea that if it would. And when I say that, the ending was kind of a little bit open-ended, superfluous. We get an ending, but to a lot of people, it's not the ending that they wanted. They wanted a little bit more closure, a little bit more of a happy ending. So, debates there. And it's scary how much logical sense this all made given today's political climate. Enjoyment, can you really enjoy a book like this? I'm not sure, but I thought it was so well done that if there's a different word for enjoyment for books like this, that's what it would be. And lastly, our audiobook narrator. Like I mentioned, I started this book first on digital read through the library, and it just was a slog to get through. I was interested, but the prose was so slow and the plot was so slow moving that I was having a hard time. I added the audiobook, which was narrated by Grover Gardner, and Gardner did a fantastic job narrating this book. His voice and tone and reading speed was exactly how I imagined it before I started the immersion read. So that's my spoiler-free review for It Can't Happen Here by Sinclair Lewis. It's one of those books that, I'm glad that I read, but I hope to never read again. And I hope that, especially soon, but one day our political climate will not look as close as it did in this book. If you have read this book before, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of it? And if you've read it in, more recent times, like now, like me, let me know how scary it was for you to be reading it. It's a horror book without being a horror book right now. So that's it for now. As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.